Hello, everybody. I'm going to give just a minute to let this thing load up and give everybody a few minutes to get on, or a few seconds. I'm actually on Wi-Fi, so I just want to make sure that everything comes up and that everything's loaded. But while everybody's getting on and everything, welcome to another night of the Women's World of Fishing Monday Night Takeover with Barbara and Angie. We have a great guest tonight. We're going to bring her on here in just a few minutes. But as you can see, I got a little bit of sun today, and I'm super exhausted, but I took a little last minute trip with Dad to a secret little lake in Tennessee. Angie didn't even know I was coming to this place. She's probably never even heard of the lake. So we came off early because we wanted to be here tonight. And yeah, so if it seems that I'm totally out of it, I am really just that exhausted. But Angie, you don't look like you're in your normal place either. Where are you at?
Yeah, so I kind of forgot about that it's Monday night tonight, and my work Freedom Boat Club, we're having a company gathering at a campground on Percy Priest Lake at Seven Points, it's called. And it just so happens that one of my coworkers has a Lance truck camper, and we were checking it out, and I said, hey, why don't I do the show from your truck camper tonight, since I don't have the mobile podcast studio with me, but it's a Lance truck camper. It's really nice. It's the big Mac Daddy with the 2 slide outs. So it's a little bigger than mine.
Wow.
But beautiful view of the lake as well. The sun is setting. I don't know if I can, that's out the window. I don't know. You probably can't see much. The shade is down.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Show that again.
But
we could see that.
So
wow, nice.
Yeah. So
wow, you guys are good friends to have.
Yeah. So I'll be on here as long as I can, but I will have to hop off a little early to get back to the function. But I definitely wanted to be on at least for a good chunk of the show tonight. So.
Well, good deal. Well, thanks for showing up. That's an awesome camper. Yeah. Maybe sometime in the future for me, definitely not now. So, it looks like we've got several people that have come on now. Is my Wi-Fi, is it working okay?
Yep, it's been good so far. And also I'm on my phone tonight, so I don't have my normal setup with me, and I can't see. Well, let's see. Yeah, if I click on the chat, that takes away my screen on the phone. So it's going to be hard for me to kind of watch comments tonight, but we'll catch them afterwards.
Okay. And there was actually a comment that came through. It looks like Facebook has now started to show up a little bit. Yeah, but it just says Facebook user.
Okay.
So again, sorry about this, everybody. If you notice, we're now on several more platforms. We've got 4 different Facebook pages between Angie and I both, and 3 YouTube and Twitter. And so the comments are kind of coming from all over the place. So this doesn't say exactly who the Facebook user is. So the comment is, hi, ladies. Not sure who exactly that is, but hello. So yeah, if you want to put your name there until we get this figured out, then that would be great, because we're still learning this process and everything. But we were on time tonight, so we did great.
Progress.
Yeah, especially since we're in different places, so it's getting better. So tonight, for everybody, we did not keep this guest a secret. I did post who we were having tonight. Her name is Shannon Wells, and she fishes with the Lady Bass Anglers Association, the LBAA. And last year, she fished as a co-angler. And lo and behold, we show up in Texas, and here she comes in with her beautiful boat, and she's going as a pro. Which is amazing. That's awesome. Like, I was super, super happy for her. And I wanted to have her on here. Several ladies wanted to have her on here to see what transitioned from last year when we were at the Truman Lake tournament, and all of a sudden her showing up in Texas like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make the jump right now. Here it is. I'm here. So I want to bring her on for that. And we're going to find out what happened, what transpired over the holidays to make her do this. So let's see. She's backstage now. So we're going to bring her on. Hopefully she'll get connected and be okay. And oh, what's up, Fish Snatcher? Thank you for joining us. And Debbie, thank you so much. Okay, Shannon. All right, you are live. Thank you so much for coming on.
Hello.
Hello, hello. How are you?
I'm awesome. How are you guys?
We're doing great. Thank you so much for coming on. There was a lot of people that really wanted to hear, why you made this transition from being a co-angler, and because we know that you do fish in your hometown, as a boater, but then here you came. What happened?
And before we get into that, I just have to make a quick comment. Shannon, you've got the headset going on tonight, and neither one of us do. So
yeah, right. Yeah, sorry.
It's old age. I can hear better. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yep.
Yeah.
You probably sound better than the both of us.
You guys sound great on my end.
Okay.
Good deal. So what happened?
Well, they were short, and they asked if I wanted to switch, and I'm kind of weird about things. I am a pre-planner, so I had a plan. I was gonna fish as a co for 2 years, and then transition into being a pro. I just felt that I needed more seat time, but I'll mention Pam Horn. She didn't want me to, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. She said, if I keep waiting and keep waiting and keep waiting till I feel that I'm ready, then I'm always going to talk myself out of it, because I'm really good at getting in my own head and talking myself out of doing things. So literally, you, as long as you're comfortable with your boat, which I've had this boat since May, then you just got to jump in. You may not be great. I mean, I came from being third last year for Angler of the Year as a co my first year, which is a great year. I couldn't ask for much better. Learned a lot. I love learning from the back of the boat. I mean, that was my main goal, was to soak up as much information as I possibly can. So I really, really enjoy that. Now I fish a lot of team tournaments with people, so I can still continue to learn from others. I think that's important. When you stop learning, you might as well quit.
Yeah. So. And so you were ready. I mean,
in my mind, no.
You're kind of like talking yourself out of it, like, well, I mean, yeah, but you were ready.
Yes. I mean, probably. There's still a lot of things I can fine tune, of course, but that, again, it's a learning process along the way.
So how much time did you have between when they twisted your arm and convinced you to come on as a boater for the Ray Hubbard tournament, between that and the actual tournament?
They asked me probably, I don't know, maybe a month before, and I said no right away. And then I pondered on it a little more, and Pam Horn pushed me a little more, and
that's why you named her.
I finally decided I'd go ahead and give it a try. It's a different transition, just flat out going to a boater. I have been doing boater on some local stuff, smaller. I belong to like one of the original Bass and Gals here in Missouri, which is a great club for women, wonderful learning platform for women. Leslie Anderson is our president in that. And she really pushed me. That's how I found the LBAA, between her and Martha Goodfellow. I didn't even know this stuff existed. So, and our club too is welcome. We have some people in Illinois, so it's open to women. And if you want to learn, it's a wonderful platform to learn in. So, and I mean, I was really nervous about fishing like that. My husband works a job where he's on call 24/7, and he just said, go. I mean, you might as well go and do it, try it. And that was me. I was more nervous about just going and doing it, but you just got to jump in and go.
That's the best way to learn. That's always kind of been my mentality as well. So, and you push yourself and you just do it.
It's scary. I mean, don't get me wrong. That's something scary to just hop right in and do something, but that's one of the better ways to learn. And as long as you have a good support system behind you, I mean, my whole family, my daughters have helped me set up my social media, because I was pretty social media stupid when this all started. But you got to market yourself too. It's kind of a business if you want to grow with sponsors and things like that. And I've got a really good group of sponsors and people that have helped me, even private parties that have helped me. And without every single one of them, and especially my family, I wouldn't be able to do any of the stuff that I'm doing.
Yeah, that's so important. What and then also for your first LBA as a boater, it's like Ray Hubbard, which is kind of an intimidating lake. What was that experience like for you?
Well, I'll tell you, the day I got there, it was windy. But when we first got on the lake, I went ahead. Pam and I got on at the same time, and it was all right. I went into a few coves and caught fish right away, and I thought, all right, this is easy. I can do this. I've got this. The next day was a totally different story. So it was different. It was, and I have a really bad habit of getting in my own head, so I need to figure out how to get out of my own head. Pam always says, just fish. You know how to fish. So I just got to get out of my head and just go fishing.
That's kind of even what Pam Ridgel was saying too. You know, like that she still gets in her head. You know,
Yeah.
So how exactly do we teach ourselves to do that? You know, it sounds like that's going to kind of be a lifelong thing that as anglers we're all going to do probably every time we're on the water, you know. So I think you can give yourself a break, you know, like not to be so hard on yourself, because like you're a great angler, Shannon. Like, you know, so you jumping that quickly into a boater is amazing, and you've got to give yourself credit. You know how to fish, you know how to run a boat, like you're on your path. Like it's amazing. So please give yourself credit for you know, for that.
Thanks.
I just feel like this is the beginning for you. Like this is your baby step kind of thing, you know, and it's great.
Thank you.
So what's the next step?
I think just keep going on the path I'm on. I get as much. The main thing about being a boater is seat time. I mean, I cannot say seat time enough. There's a good example. I belong to a few boating, like the Triton page, and people ask questions all the time. And one of the main things that everyone says and that really sticks is seat time. You just need seat time. There's so many different variables, and you know, it's a little scarier when you have a code, just because you know you're responsible for somebody else. I mean, you fully have somebody else in the boat with you, so it's not just your life or your fishing, it's somebody else. So, and I'm more like Pam. I'm really worried about making sure my co's catch fish. I had my co did awesome the second day, so I was so happy for her. And I mean, Sherry, she knocked it out of the ballpark. And then at the end, my goal was to just make sure she got her third fish, and we got that. And I was very, very happy for her. And that's awesome coming out of your boat.
Nice.
You must
Yeah,
almost feel like a guide out there a little bit then.
Well, I mean, your goal is obviously to catch fish too, but sometimes it doesn't always happen that way.
Is that I guess I never really looked at it like that. How do boaters feel going to, weigh in, and if the co-angler's got a limit and the boater's like skunked or is that a bad feeling, or are you like, yay, co-angler?
Well,
I mean, I've never thought of that. Is that a good feeling or a bad feeling?
Well, I guess how do you feel as a co when your pro has fish and you don't? Same feeling, I guess. I mean,
I always just think, they had the front of the boat, so they had all the advantage.
Right. You can just say, I fished behind Hoover all day, whatever.
Yeah.
Selfish little brat. She wouldn't let me fish. Well, you can always just kind of attest to that. Like she caught everything in front of me. I was in the back.
I don't know. Honestly, I think as a co, it teaches you way more as far as that goes, because you have to learn how to fish behind several different styles, different areas that maybe you have never even thought about fishing before. But again, that's where I've just become a sponge. I mean, I have fished behind some awesome people. Linda Gessner was one for me. It was like, what am I going to do with the frog lady? I mean, come on. But I got it done. Her and I on Pickwick.
I love Linda.
So, I mean, it's how open you are as a co or a boater. And don't think as a boater that you don't learn from your co either, because that's not true. I mean, right. I've learned from several of my co's, so or teammates when we're doing team tournaments. So again, if you think that you know it all, then you might as well quit, because what's the purpose of even being on the water? I learn every single time I'm on the water.
Yeah. So and that is true. I mean, there's always lessons to be, learned every single time we go out. Right. I mean, what did you do behind Linda, by the way?
It's a secret. It's my secret.
We won't make you share any secrets.
I just love Linda.
I'll tell you what, I got really lucky because I was supposed to pre-fish with Robbie, and Robbie was just needing a rest day, and she said, Linda will take you. And I was like, oh wow, we're gonna throw frogs all day. I don't know what I'm gonna do. So we went and checked out the area, and I stressed all night long as to, because lo and behold, I had her in practice, but then I also drew Linda. So it was like, wow. But no,
I would tell you what to throw behind Linda, but I'm afraid that on some of these long tournaments that you might show up competing against me.
Hey, I figured out what to throw behind Linda. I did very well on that tournament.
Okay, well,
that was on Pickwick, and I think I
didn't fish there.
Yeah, it was awesome. I had a wonderful day. Linda is a wonderful teacher. I mean, you can't go wrong if you get Linda. I know everyone thinks, oh, it's a frog. I can't throw a frog with Linda. But she is excellent at letting you know what's in her head. And I again, like a sponge. At one point, I had my limit by 7:45. Linda had hers by 8:30. And at one point, I was just watching her, and she turns around and she goes, "Why aren't you fishing?" I said, "I'm just I mean, she is absolutely amazing to watch with a frog. I don't think I've ever seen anyone fish a frog any better. I'm a jig person, so jewel jig, I'll keep them in business forever because I absolutely love jigs." So
I have to be honest, I have never seen anybody throw a frog like her either.
yeah,
Because
it's
I
amazing.
came home and I'm like, Dad, we've never fished a frog like we're supposed to fish a frog. Like, we might as well have never fished one.
Right.
And, you know, so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
because
just
honest to
her
God,
technique.
I might as well have never ever fished one in my entire life, because I was like, is she kidding? Is that really how she fishes it?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I totally get what you're saying, you know, but
I think it's incredible the way
it
she throws
is.
the frog. I mean, I just witnessed her catch some amazing fish on a frog too. It's when I
You know
grow up,
what?
I want to be the next Linda Gessner.
If he was at the lake that I'm at right now, you know what? Tomorrow I'm just going to take pictures of where I'm at right now, and I'm going to send them to her, because she'll have a heart attack right now, because I haven't thrown a frog one time since I've been here. And she would be like, "Are you stupid?" And I would just be like, "Probably." Because there's lily pads everywhere.
So why aren't you throwing the frog?
Because so many reasons. This is one of the best crappie lakes in the country. But it is like a really good bass lake. I mean, not for me right now. We're doing terrible. I caught a nice drum, Angie. I don't know. Like, seriously. And it was so funny, because I was like, Dad, there should be a really nice bass right there, because it was like the only place we found like current on this entire lake, because it doesn't usually exist. And it was where there was like green grass, and there's not a lot of grass. It's usually like dead reeds type of thing, kind of like what we saw in Texas. And I was just like, there should be a bass here. And we weren't getting bites. Same thing that happened to me in Texas. Soon as my bait goes in, I feel it set the hook, and I'm really excited, and I'm like, oh, I'm telling you, the fish gods don't like me. It was heartbreaking.
They were really buried in
man.
those reeds. I mean, that was a crazy lake for sure. And
I'm just
finally,
not convinced here that they're in the lily pads, honestly. So that's why I'm not throwing it. But
oh, I bet they are. I guarantee they are.
Okay.
Ask Linda, she'd tell you.
Tomorrow morning, then I'll try that, and I'll try and throw the frog, and I'll
Post us
look
some
like a
pictures.
doofus, but I'll try.
Watch, you'll probably
Haley.
catch a hog.
I know. And then I'll be like, oh, I can't even eat my words and post this on social media.
Hey, ladies, I'm gonna jump out real quick so I can join my work party that I'm missing. But I'm really honored to have you on and get the chance to talk to you a little bit about the whole going from the co to pro. And just kudos to you for taking that leap and just having the courage to do it. And I can't wait to see you. You'll be at Hickory?
Nope, I'm skipping Hickory. I have some other tournaments in. I will be at Kane, though.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll look forward to seeing you there.
All right. Yep.
Okay.
Good luck to
I'll
you.
catch up with you later, Angie.
Okay. I'll watch the replay.
Okay.
Bye.
Have fun at your party.
See you, ladies.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
So none at North Carolina, but you are going to fish at Kane. Are you going to go as a boater?
I believe I am going to go as a boater.
Good.
Yeah.
And so what will your preparation be like for Kane since you're going to go as a boater? Because we usually do pre-fish. I usually pre-fish as a co-angler because
Right.
I love my friends, and sometimes I think pre-fishing as a co-angler can even just sometimes hurt you in a tournament, but what's the preparation going to be like for you?
Well, I kind of agree with that. I like to really look at the maps and study all that stuff.
Mhm.
Study the lake as much as I can, talk to as many people as you can, watch videos as much as you can. Kane's going to be a whole new ballpark that probably none of us have even been close to, just because it's more like a skinny little canal river type thing. So it's going to be
I
different.
saw that.
It's going to be a
I,
lot different.
and I know there's a speed limit, I guess, on Kane at like 45 miles an
Yeah.
hour, I think. Um, so yeah, I heard that there's some really nice fish in there. But I
Right.
I don't know much about it either, you know.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of studying. It's I think completely different than most of the things we've fished. So it'll but I guess I can't say that because each one has been a complete new experience to me. Just fishing out of state is different. It's one thing
Yeah.
to go from, I live on Bull Shoals Lake, and so I know Bull Shoals Lake pretty good. Been
That is
fishing
where you
Table
live
Rock.
on?
Yes, I do. I live on Bull Shoals on the Missouri side, and to me, that's one of the best lakes around. So it's a tough lake to beat. But
You all don't even know how lucky you are.
oh, I do know how lucky I am. I mean, that's why I live here, so I can fish all the time. So,
You guys are
but
very, very blessed.
yes, we are. We definitely live in God's country, that's for sure. So
Wow.
I feel fortunate that we live where we live. I can literally be from my garage to the lake in 10 minutes. So we're that close. But
I guess I'm like the only person in the LBAA that doesn't live like in close proximity to one of like the major lakes.
well, the only bad thing about Bull Shoals, it's a learning curve as well, just because they flood it out most of the year. So it's a lot different when it's flooded
Yeah.
and when it's at normal pool. So, but it's fun. It's absolutely. I think there's bigger fish in Bull Shoals than Table Rock, but don't tell anyone.
I mean, I've seen a lot of shows on Bull Shoals, and I know that it's a crankbait lake, and I love to throw a crankbait. So, you know, that would be I
Yeah.
would love for them to do a tournament there.
Oh, that would be awesome. I'd
You're
be
like,
right in
and
my
I would love
backyard.
for them to do
Go
it.
for it. Yeah. Yes. It would have been nicer than Truman for sure, I think. But I mean,
Yeah.
Truman too is another learning experience for everyone. It's some of
was,
the girls are used to stuff like that. I'm not. So
yeah. Me and Angie did the her podcast, The Woman Angler and Adventure. After day 2, we did her podcast that night after day 2. And if you haven't listened to that, it's a treat. We were exhausted, and I mean, it was a mess, but we talked about day 2 extensively. And just about how nightmarish that day was. I've never been so miserable on the water in my life as I was that day. Yeah, I really haven't.
it
You
was
know,
cold. A lot of people quit. My husband and my son were there, of course. And my husband said, I know a lot of guys that would have quit on this tournament. This is just outrageous conditions. And I mean, I stuck it out. I paid to fish. So I was going to fish, but it was definitely crazy. It was very cold, windy,
it
raining
was
on us
dangerous.
half the time. It was crazy, but I mean, you just got to stick it out and fish. So I see one of your viewers said Bull Shoals used to be the #1 bass lake in the United States. To me, it still is, but
yeah, thank you for coming, Jack. I appreciate it. He makes some amazing crankbaits and glide baits and top waters, and he does real amazing work with stuff like that. And he makes me some of my favorite glide baits. But yeah. Sometimes people make us like our favorite baits, and then you're kind of like, I don't want you to make certain things for other people. That's kind of how I feel about Jack. One bait in particular. And it's like a jointed glide bait. And I thought for sure I was gonna get a hog on that today. And we honestly, we threw everything. I don't think you can name anything other than a frog. Bye, Jack. Have a good night.
see,
And
you should be using the frog.
you know what? I guess, maybe that's a dodo-ish thing that I didn't, that I just didn't do. But I don't think you can name anything other than that we didn't try. And I don't get it, but
Well, they're in that weird transition. I don't know what your water temp is, but I know here, I've been fishing Table Rock a lot. I've had a lot of tournaments back to back. I had 2 this weekend on Table Rock. Awesome. And we're in that weird, we saw just hundreds of beds this weekend. Some of them had fish, but they just did not want to hit yet. Our water temperature is still only about 56, but we had a warm snap a week or so ago, and then it got cold again, so all those fish pulled back off of their beds. And then even so Saturday, I fished Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. And Thursday, the ones we saw on the beds, they were there on they weren't there on Saturday, but they were back. Some of them were back there on Sunday, but Saturday night it got really cold again. So I mean, they're just up and back right now. It's crazy right now. So
see, and I wouldn't have suspected that the water temperature there would have been that low.
Yeah, it's pretty chilly still. It's
wow.
I mean, towards the end of the day, if we get a lot of sun, you can see some of those coves are hitting 60, but I mean, the smallmouth should be spawning right now because they only need 56 degrees, but your largemouth and stuff need a consistent 60 degrees to start thinking about spawning. So we did catch a few off of beds, but most of them, they would take off right away as soon as you threw anything near them. They just were not locked onto their beds yet. So I would say,
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Another week or 2 weeks are probably just going to be crazy ready to go. I mean,
see,
it'll be exciting.
Here is about 67, but this lake, I mean, if you find 5 foot of water, you're deep. Like, yeah, that's deep. And I mean, I haven't planed off they have ditches that you can run that have like stakes. If you basically are hitting the stakes with your boat, pretty much, like, you might be able to run it. I won't, but like, it's full of like stumps. And I mean, it's, put it this way, they're in a tournament, nobody front or back. You could have 4 people in a boat and nobody has an advantage. There's just stuff everywhere. And I mean, I think it probably started at like 65 this morning and got close to 68. And we saw one bed and no fish around it, but it is muddy water, and I mean, I don't know if they're done spawning, if they're in all stages. I don't even know where they go to spawn here, because there's a lot of places where they could go that we would never see. They can go behind the reeds that kayakers might get to. I mean, I don't even know. This is a very strange. I mean, I love it here. That's why we keep coming back, but it's just different than any place I've ever been. You
Right.
know. But the crappie that come out of here, we are the only person that's bass fishing this lake.
Are you sure there's bass there?
Well, now I don't know. In years past there has been, but now we're just kind of like, maybe there's not. But no, it's fun to come down here because we do know the potential of the bass that are here, and that's what keeps us coming back. But it can be as stingy as any other lake, and with as shallow as this lake is, they're really sensitive to changes in barometric pressure and stuff like that.
Oh, I bet.
And they like the barometric pressure dropped way off right before we got here. And so now it was like today was clearly with bluebird skies, and I didn't have my hat on.
That's what we had yesterday too.
Yeah, and it's that any fisherman, that's like the last thing that you want is bluebird skies and no wind.
Right.
So hopefully tomorrow will be different. But you just never know.
You don't. Nope, you got to keep plugging away and throwing the tackle box at them.
Right. I mean, that's really all you can do. And John says, once the wife gave birth, she wants anything eating either. Yeah, right.
So John is saying they already spawned then on your lake.
Right. Man, I'll tell you, like, I love, going out and fishing and fishing and fishing and fishing. But sometimes, it gets really frustrating, and like, I don't know. It gets into your head, like it's not just days that you're in tournaments. It gets in your head even when you're just out fishing for fun.
That's true, but I don't know if you're like me. I when I'm not fishing, I watch way too much fishing. I probably keep the fishing channel in business, I think, because that's what I watch the most of.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, even the pros have bad days and don't catch things. I mean, it happens to everyone. It's who's on their best game, who's figuring it out that day. It's like gambling, basically. I mean, yeah, I just had that conversation with somebody today. It's our own form of gambling because you honestly do not know what's going to happen. You can be on them Saturday. I caught a limit. Yesterday, I did not. I mean, the fishing was like night and day between Saturday and yesterday. So it's crazy. So, but you don't know.
But how many times are you out on the water and you're like, okay, if I was Aaron Martins, what would I be doing now?
But we're not Aaron Martins.
Right. Or if I was KVD, what would I be doing? Well, no, not if I was KVD. Or
we all know what KVD is doing.
Yeah, like more like if I was Jacob Wheeler or Brandon Polinick or Jordan Lee, I mean, you have like the old school guys that are,
right.
They're more like doing teaching shows and stuff like that. It's the young guys, that are kind of taking over the actual fishing part. But like, I find myself doing that all the time, because I just always think that there's room to improve.
There's always room to improve. But again, that goes back to what I said in the beginning, that you can't get in your own head. You have to learn to shake that day off, regroup, figure out what you can change up the next day. Again, some days you just don't know because the weather can change on you. I mean, you get those pre or post front conditions, bluebird skies. I mean, there's so many different variables in fishing, and the main thing is somebody's always going to figure it out. You hope it's always you, but if it's not, I mean, try to see what you can find out about what those people did. Sometimes people have been pretty cool about sharing. Hey, it's over, it's done with, they're not fishing against you tomorrow. Ask them, talk to them, see. I mean, that's what's going to make you a better angler, is to get as much information about what you did wrong and how you could change it next time. Keep a log. Keep a log of what the water temperature was, the weather was, just the different variables. If you can start to figure out those variables, even water color, water temp, I mean, vegetation, if you can keep as good a details as you can about every lake and all those different details, you can start piecing together a pattern as to what was working, and it'll make you a better angler later if you can go back and start retaining the stuff that you wrote down. So
and that is a great point. Do you keep a written log, or do you do like an electronic one, or like what kind of thing do you do to keep track of that? Because me and Dad have this debate all the time.
I handwrite it all, and then I'm a great person to throw everything in the computer. So I'll handwrite it and then transfer it to the computer, because if you can look back and just kind of keep reading your own fishing diary per se, it'll just make you better. Hey, I had a day similar to this. I could probably try this, or this is who I talked to. Even if you talk to someone that day and you know what you did wrong, and you talked to a few people and heard what they did. And another thing is area. I mean, you may have fished one area and that area just flat out didn't produce fish, but they fished another area. They took a run and went somewhere else. Just because one area is not firing doesn't mean another one. So again, it's about finding, maybe they fish chunk rock and you fish the pea gravel. Fish are so funny as to what they relate to in certain times of the year, and it's a puzzle of what the fish are doing. And if you can figure out those pieces and where they fit, it's just going to make you a better angler.
Well, and I am, when you and I were talking before the show, I am one of the very blessed people that, just in case you're watching, Dad, I love you, that I still get to fish tournaments with my dad. And I'm very, very lucky for that. But he's old school, no social media, doesn't hardly do anything on the computer and stuff like that.
Right.
And I'm not going to take a steno pad out with me on the lake. I mean, who's going to take time in our generation to sit down and, I tried this color and I casted it 2 twigs and I mean, I'm being sarcastic, but I would never actually take time to do that. And I know that I wouldn't,
You can't sit down later and write it?
Well, theoretically, yes, but I'm good on the computer. So keeping, like you write it down and then you transfer it. I can keep a log in a computer, but his thing is that he would never get on a computer to type it or to read it. So that's kind of a disconnect. We can't share the same log because we don't log it the same. you know,
Right.
but it's just the gap in the generations. But, you know, I do think that that's a great idea, because referring back to that year after year, you know, I would bet water temperatures around the same time of the year is similar, water clarity, probably all of it, you know. I don't
Well,
keep
not always for that time of the year, but I mean,
Mhm.
this year's completely different than it was last year or the year before. Because I remember a tournament a few years ago in April that it was so cold you could hardly even stand being on the lake, and it was crazy out there that day. But and this year it was pretty nice. Yesterday
Yeah.
and Thursday I was in shorts, but Saturday it was pretty chilly. But I mean, if you can just go back and kind of be comparable, I mean, of course we all know, hey, we're in pre-spawn. This is what we should be doing.
Right.
Should be is the question. Doesn't mean the fish are agreeing with what we
Right.
should think they're doing, but um, as long as you have something to kind of go back on, you can give yourself a base point of where to start.
Right. And I mean, I mean, they say that a bass is supposed to be the most predictable fish that swims,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
Right. Well, that's kind of how I feel. I'm starting to feel that more and more, like every time I go out. You know, I'm starting to catch drum more easily. You know, like that's my new thing.
Hey, I caught
But
a big, huge trout this weekend.
really?
Yeah.
On the lake?
Yeah. On Table Rock. I've never caught a trout on Table or Rock, and it was a pretty good sized trout. I was really surprised.
Why
So,
are they on there regularly?
I mean, I don't know. I've never caught one, but I'm sure they're
Wow.
there because Taneycomo's filled with trout. But it was just weird. I've never caught a trout on Table Rock, but it
I've
was cool.
somebody probably, if it's not, I mean, if they're not normally in there and you catch one, somebody was
Yeah.
probably using it for bait, which is totally illegal.
It was a big trout.
Yeah, totally illegal.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was kind of
Yeah.
funny. It was shocking because I didn't expect to catch one, of course, but I was trying to catch bass for a tournament, not trout.
Right. You're probably like,
So
wait a minute, double take.
yeah, it was interesting for sure, but I don't know. You just got to learn as much as you can possibly learn, and again,
Mhm.
if you can learn from other people where your mistakes are, especially from if you can watch as many shows or videos on YouTube, there's people that have got it figured out. So if you can learn from those people that have it figured out, that
Right.
just makes you better so you can figure it out. So
Mhm.
um,
But like you were talking about, like with the seat, you know, nothing beats time on the water,
no,
you know.
no, there's so many different variables when you're a boater, and you have to be very careful, and it's not something to take lightly. You have your life and somebody else's life, and
Mhm.
you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, there's boating accidents all the time, and people lose their life, and it's a terrible tragedy, and most of the time it can be avoided. So
Right.
just really pay attention. Just if someone's coming at you and you think they're going to move, don't always think they're going to move. So have that planned. I mean,
I don't know how many times today my dad and I were like looking at people saying it only takes a second, you know,
yeah,
and I know the people around here, like they know this lake and these ditches and, you know, and stuff like that, but like the roads, but like there was this guy that was on plane and he was sitting on the front deck on a cooler. He wasn't even in a seat. And it takes one log, you know,
it
one
does.
anything to just fly off, you know. And I mean, it's scary because we've heard the last couple of years of a lot of boating accidents where people have been killed, You know, people
Right.
in kayaks. People in kayaks have been killed the last couple of years.
Yeah.
You know, it it's
It's
tough.
not a game. You do have to take it seriously. Hi, whoever just said hi.
370 370 Z twin turbo. Is that
It's
you, Derek?
who just said hi.
Hello. Yeah, the names aren't, because it's so many platforms that I don't know that they're coming through the way that they're supposed to.
There's a few people that John Evans' name. There's some people that are coming up, but some of them don't say who they are. But yeah, you just, definitely don't drink and boat. Those things don't mix. It's kind of like driving it is like driving a vehicle. You're responsible for your own life and you're responsible for other people's life.
I agree.
So it's not a game. Take it seriously. Missouri requires, I know, for the people younger than myself, you have to have go through the boating certificate. So I think that's a good thing.
Right.
Just, so they can learn the basics, the do's and the don'ts, and the safety of it. Honestly, I think everybody should take some form of it. But if not, then please learn from somebody who's safety conscious and can teach you the right way. So,
and that's one thing that I love about the LBAA is that, like, they encourage co-anglers that want to learn to take that next step. We'll teach you to, like that during the official practice. It's like, if you want to learn, we'll help you. We'll help teach you how to put a boat on a trailer. We'll help teach you, if you want to learn how to back a trailer in, we'll help you. We'll help teach you all these different things. And I think that's amazing, because you're not going to get that, anywhere else, for other people to help you with that. And I love that they do that. And, because it really does only take a second, less than that sometimes. And I love that they really encourage and help people learn, like,
it is a good you can also good platform is, I mean, the LBAA is great, but also if you can start on some of your local smaller clubs, they're always, I mean, one thing that I've really noticed, because I honestly, I've only been doing this for 4 years, 2 years full time. And it was just kind of a fluke. I mean, I grew up fishing. My dad, my uncle, my grandpa were just avid hunters and fishermen. So
that's awesome.
I lost my dad when I was in high school. And so that for me was my way of, keeping his memory alive, was to keep fishing. So if you have a good support from people and learning from people, if you want to jump in and start doing tournaments and stuff, the fishing community has been, as a whole, absolutely wonderful. I mean, people have bent over backwards with information, sharing baits. It's been incredible to me that how awesome people have been. The fishing community has been extremely nice as a whole. I mean, it's been incredible.
Yeah,
at least my experience.
And I totally agree with you. I mean, everybody is super welcoming. The men, the women. I mean, they're super amazing. And I mean, you said you've been doing it for 4 years, and you have an amazing group of sponsors that support you. Like, who is it that's just doing amazing things for you? Who do you want to give a shout out to? Because I mean, that's really important. You know,
Oh,
we support them, they support us. It's a marriage.
yes, I have great. And here's the thing: if people want to get into the sponsor game, I've heard two sides of that coin, and
Mhm.
I understand the other side. I've heard people say, I don't want to have to deal with that. I don't want to have to chase people. I don't want to have to be their social media all the time because trust me, when you get sponsors or a relationship with, not all of them, a lot of your stuff is a pro staff, and people don't understand the difference. A lot of people think pro staff means they're full-fledged sponsoring you, and they are not. Most of the
Right.
time when you're a pro staff, you're getting discounts, but you also have a job for that pro staff.
Yep.
Your job is to promote them and get their product out there. And I can't even tell you how many times I've gotten product and given my product away that I bought and paid for, maybe on a discount, but I give it away because here's the
You
thing:
got a job.
on the people that I've paired up with, these are all people that I believe in their product. I've
Mhm.
picked people to pair up with because I love their product. Jewel jigs, I mean, that it's not a secret. I love to fish jigs. Absolutely love it. That's if you could say, "Hey, you can only pick one bait to fish with all year," I would 100% pick a jig. I love jigs. I mean,
I hate them. I'm not taking any jigs.
I think you can use it all year long.
You're
Um,
right. I get my butt kicked all the time on jigs. I can't stand them.
so I mean, absolutely. If you haven't checked out Jewel Jigs, check them out because they are an awesome company. They won't do you wrong, and I can tell you, look at my pictures. I catch a lot of fish on
I've
jigs.
I've heard a
It's not
lot of
gonna lie.
people. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people love them.
Yeah, and to me, I've picked people that I love their product. Their product is what spoke to me. Can I go out and get somebody like Rapala or something like that? Probably. But would it be the same relationship I have as the smaller companies? Probably not.
Mm-mm.
I'm just saying, you know, you do have to work for them. It is like a whole nother job. You have to keep up on your social media.
Yep.
Uh, you have to repost their posts, and that's important. I mean, that's what I want to do. It's important to me as an angler because I like their products. I believe in their products, so I am gonna promote their product like that the way they want me to.
Right.
And it's not for everyone. I see people that are on our pro staff, and they finally just say, "I can't do it. It's not for me," and they'll bow out
Mhm.
and give somebody else their spot. And that's, like I said, it's not for everyone because it is a lot of work as far as social media and promoting goes. But you know, if you believe in it, it's a heck of a lot easier because the products work. If it's something
Right.
you're going, "Oh, hey, I want a new rod. I'm going to go ahead and just try this, get on for a discount with this." If that's what you're after is just the discount, then don't even bother because
Right.
it's the wrong reason to just go for it. I mean, there's a
Right.
lot of companies out there that you can get on with just for a discount. I'm telling you that right now. I mean, there's lots
Right.
of companies that are very easy to get on with just to get a discount, but
Right.
it's the ones that are a
Or
little more
get a
careful.
discount code from a friend, and then you don't have to do any work, and then I mean, there's so many different other things that you can do other than
Right.
signing up as a pro staff for that company. Like,
Right.
you know, it's it's a tough it it's a tough way to go if it's not in your like your heart and in your blood to go after it. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
the pro staff and the sponsorship, it's not for everybody.
It's not.
But if that's what you want, it doesn't feel like work because you care
Right.
about those people.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? Like you legitimately care about them and what happens to their company. And because you're using their product anyway,
Right.
that's
Well,
how I see it.
I noticed on some of them, you know, it's like a family. Another really good one is Funkbuster, super small company, big huge heart. I mean,
I gotta look
Paul
them up.
Paul and Brenda are awesome. I mean, they make spinner baits, buzz baits. I think they're dabbling in a couple of jigs and things like that, but absolutely phenomenal company. Small, he'll always take care of you. He built me some special colors for Truman last year. Hopefully, it's my secret colors if you're watching, Paul. I mean,
Oh,
it's
tell me what
just,
the colors are.
I mean, yeah, so they just take care of you differently than, the big, huge companies.
I know exactly
Um,
what you mean.
I have some of the big companies, and it's just a different relationship with them than the smaller companies. Of course, it's a family atmosphere, and that's so much better than the big ones. You're
Right,
just it's kind of like work. You're just a name and a number. And it's a little
right,
different when you're in the family groups than the big, huge company. So, but
right.
it's
And I think
go
that
ahead.
like that they because it is like it's like it is a business relationship, but it's
Right,
also like they want us to do well as an angler because our success is their success, but we want them to do well as a business because their success is our success, and that's the business relationship. But if like for my spot, I do not have one sponsor on my jersey that I didn't go to them and just say, I'm gonna promote your product anyway. So can I just represent you because like I'm going to promote you. I mean, honestly, like these were people that I had already been using them,
right,
and I had been watching them on social media, and I knew that I wanted to be affiliated with them. And
right,
so I I totally get like what you're saying with that. And I think that having those relationships like long term for you and I down the road, I think is going to pay off in the long run because I think that we do provide value to those companies, and I love that. Like I I am much more of a like proponent of the companies that are for the everyday angler, the weekend warrior, for the I I I'm not going to mention any companies, none, but I can't stand like paying for a name.
well, here's a
Like
good
bag
example.
A, like bag A is $20 and bag B is $50 and it's the same bag. I just
Right.
I just don't like that. I
Well,
like
and
companies that target for everybody.
Right. Well,
you
and
know.
along that line too, I won't mention a name, but I had started using one type of rod, and I finally decided, well, they do have a pro staff program. I'll try for it. And I very rudely got we basically only sponsor pros. So if you think you're good enough, you can go ahead and try to apply. So um, I have weeded most of them out, and I use cash and rods now, and I absolutely love cash and rods. So they can get a plug, and I'm not even sponsored by them or on pro staff. I would love to be, but stand-up company compared to the one I was talking to before, that's just
So hold on a minute.
not even nice about it. They were just
Cash
flat
and
out
rods
rude.
is the ones. They're the ones that did that to you.
Not
Or
cash and rods. No, I
oh,
am
the one
switching to
before.
cash and rods. There was one
Gotcha.
before. I won't say who it was, but they basically only sponsor pros, and if I thought I was in that category, so I mean, us little guys buy a lot of stuff throughout the year, so seems like some help there would be nice too.
Oh
That
my
was kind
gosh,
of.
I want to know.
I already had a full lineup of their rods, so they're all for sale.
You know what?
I
Hold
have.
on. Don't do anything with those. Don't do anything with those. Hold on to them. No, I'm serious. Because there is something in the near future that you will have something to do with those. I mean, I'm not going to ask you to like donate them to like, but there is something perhaps that you've seen that you can get paid for those rods. Good money.
Yeah, I am in
So,
the process of switching everything over. So Cashin has been a great company. And like I said, I'm not sponsored by them or on their pro staff. I would love to be, but they are absolutely wonderful
oh my
and
God. I wonder
like
if
nothing I've ever had in my hand before.
that's
So
that. Oh, this, you don't even know how much that bothers me. You even want to know if they would have like if I would have gotten something like that? Oh man. I'm I can be a little spunky and
here's another thing I'll tell you about sponsorship too, because
oh, are you going to give us like a little like I'm not going to say the name of it, but it might be right over my shoulder.
no, just
I know. Okay,
don't
sponsorship. Sorry.
don't feel like that's something you just have to jump into, though. I mean, don't take it lightly.
Right.
It it's crazy when you start into that, because it honestly is a full-time job, and you
Mhm.
don't have to have it to fish. So if you're new and you're just wanting to learn how to tournament fish, don't feel like you have to run out there and get sponsorship or pro staff or anything. I mean, that'll come. And another thing I have noticed on other people's pages, be careful how you conduct yourself, because they're all watching you all the time. I mean,
Mhm.
represent your people in a good manner all the time. I think that's really important, whether it be on your personal page. I mean, I have a personal page, a fishing page, Instagram, YouTube. Be professional all the time. Don't have your problems on Facebook or it's. I mean, that's just crazy. Your pro staff and your sponsors, they're not looking for that. They don't want to be represented in that way. So be professional. Be professional
Mhm.
when you're at a tournament fishing. Just, people are watching you. If you go to a tournament and you're wearing your sponsor's shirt and, you know, you're representing them that day. You're wearing their stuff, and someone thinks you're being a jerk, then how do they think that company is? So be careful and, you know, represent them and yourself in a good manner all the time. I think that's really important because, you know, it's like being a football player. Be good on and off the field. I think it's really important to,
Right.
that's part of your job too, to be a good steward of the sport. So don't show bad sportsmanship, you know, at a tournament or wherever. I mean, on your social media, if you're gonna have a
Right.
private page and you're gonna act dumb on your private page, then I wouldn't be adding all your sponsors and stuff to that page, because that's not what they're wanting from you. So it makes them look bad
Right.
too. Just some friendly advice on that.
Mhm.
So
I agree. And, you know, I mean, because we are representing ourselves and they, you know, people are like you said, watching us on the water. You know, they can see our names. They can, you know, they can see everything we have on our jerseys. And
right.
I have heard several times of people sending messages to people's sponsors, whether it was legitimate or not, but complaining of people, you
Right.
know. And so you never know what people are going to come up with, you know. So if you're behaving, then you don't got to worry about anything,
Yeah.
you know, just something to keep
Yeah.
in mind. But
It
I
is
agree with
something.
you. It's not something you have to worry about right away.
Yeah. True. Do we have any more questions from anyone?
Is that my internet?
It's probably
Is that my
mine.
internet that
It's probably my internet laggy.
is that my internet?
I think it's mine. Are we still there? Are you still there?
Can you see me now?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Yeah, something's up with the Wi-Fi now.
Are you still there?
Yeah, it's something's up with the connection.
Can you still hear me?
Oh, there it goes. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't know why it's going down.
Are you at a hotel?
Does anybody? Yeah, I'm at a hotel by the lake, and I'm in the middle of nowhere, let me tell you. This is a lovely place. But yeah, does anybody have, I mean, any specific questions or anything for Shannon? Um I really, Shannon, I am so proud of you. You know, I fish is in the front of the boat all the time, and I haven't done a boater with the LBAA for a multitude of reasons, but you know, there's no reason that I can't,
Are you in
other
your
than I
own head?
haven't,
Are you
you
in your
know.
head? What are your favorite lures?
Do what?
Somebody said, what is your favorite
Kathleen,
lures?
look at you.
Like lure brands or I just told you that I absolutely love jigs, but are you looking for specific lures?
Did you see his question?
Yeah, I was waiting to see if he was going to answer me back. Like jewel jigs is my favorite bait to use, but are you asking for like crankbaits, or what are we asking? So jigs, I use jewel jigs, and then most of my plastics are Bass Reaper plastics. Same thing if I'm using a buzz bait or something like that. I tip it with the same thing. Of course, color is a factor on different waters and stuff like that. Around here, bull shoals and table rock, it's not a secret. They like red. So, and then everywhere across the country, you can use green pumpkin, just about everything. So, any other questions on there?
He has the best beef jerky and coffee, but
well, feel
his
free to
beef
send me
jerky is
any of
the
that.
best snack for the boat.
And I'd like to know about this flight date gentleman.
There was a huge bag of it at the giveaways at the tournament in Texas.
Let's see. When will I go pro? I did just fish as a pro. I will fish as a pro again at Kane Lake. And thank you for saying I have potential.
This person up early. This person said that you know who they are.
I don't know who it is. Their name is.
So I think they're messing with you. They said that you do.
I don't know it by the name that's on there.
I think they're messing with you.
Thank you, whoever it is. Green pumpkin, yes, is wonderful. Green pumpkin is something you should always absolutely 100% carry. If you don't carry green pumpkin, you're missing out, because everywhere across the country, green pumpkin.
Or watermelon, watermelon candy.
I'm
partial to watermelon candy.
The watermelon with the red flake in it is very good. Or green pumpkin watermelon flake. I had somebody once tell me, all you need is white and black. That's it. And that, might be true. I like to add a little color, but white and black, that's all you need. I also had a gentleman one time, I was fishing the back of the boat, and he said all he uses is worms and lizards all year. And he switches between the two when the trees start to bloom. So,
talk about making it simple. I mean, if you really...
you definitely wouldn't have to carry very much. You could carry your baits in a Ziploc baggie.
So, I mean, honestly, like what my boat looks like, and then in conjunction with the trunk of my car and my back seat, I should have 3 boats.
I could probably open my own bait store now, honestly. I have quite a bit of stuff. But
again,
and I can go on Bass Pro and still buy more.
Hold on to all that stuff, though. There is something in everybody's Shannon for women's fishing present. You really don't know who that is? That's funny.
Come on, say the name. That's not even fair. Let's see. 370 ZT Twin Turbo. No.
There is something.
Give me a better hint as to who you are. You're just messing with me now.
There is something in all of our near future that is going to save a mutual need when it comes to tackle.
You'll have to let me in on this secret later, and I'll tell you who this
it's going to
the
give
bad
us
rod people are.
It's really okay. I
Yeah.
want to know, but it's going to give us some extra cash. It's
Hmm.
going to give us some extra cash.
That sounds interesting.
So I'll let you know.
Let me in on that. So
I will. I'll tell you what it is.
Hi, my daughter. Thank you for helping me out with my.
I hope you know who that is.
Thank you for helping me with my social media, daughter. I should give you a plug for that. Absolutely. Without my children, I would not be able to figure out the cool things that I can set up on social media. And my grandson Blake wants me to say hi. Hi, Blake. Hi, Lucia. So yeah, social media is super important, and she literally set up every single one of my pages for me, showed me how to use them because I was kind of dumb in that aspect, but you absolutely need that social media. So anyway,
even just to learn stuff.
Hi, Ginny. Ginny's one of my fishing buddies. I drug Ginny into the fishing world, and now she's tournament hooked too. So pretty soon I'll have her fishing LBAA.
That's what we need to do. We need to keep bringing more people in.
Yeah, we really need to get women to feel comfortable that it's okay. That's one thing that I've noticed. A lot of the women, when you ask, why are you not fishing with the LBAA, and bunch of different reasons. One thing I have noticed about women in fishing is a lot of them, not all of them, I don't want to stereotype completely, but a lot of them have been older. And I really pondered that, and I've asked a lot of questions in the women's club I'm in, the other one here in Missouri, and come to the conclusion that, most women don't jump into the pro level, the higher level, when they're younger, because they're busy with careers, family. Go back to your video with David Dudley and that whole thing, and trying to figure out
what video, who did that,
why women
David Dudley more. Video.
That was great, by the way. That
he found me at my local boat show. He walked right up to me. I never met the man in my life, and he walked up to me and tapped me on the shoulder and started off by saying, "So about your video,
where's this fish off though? I want to fish this fish off. Where's this fish off he was going to bring?"
He never mentioned it. He just wanted to continue talking about my video. So I
mean,
I mean,
think it's great.
Did the reasoning that I give in that video, I mean, does it not? I mean, it's true.
Yeah, I mean, here's another thing. I think we get very complacent and comfortable in our little bubble, and a lot of them, I'll fish with my husband, but it's okay to go out and if you like fishing and you like tournament fishing, or you don't even know if you do, find a local club and go try it. Chances are you probably know somebody that you can get out there and fish with. If it's not your spouse, I bet there's a friend, or there's actually a lot more women than than you realize that are in your life that probably would go out and fish with you. If you have to start out just dinking around on the lake, learning some stuff, there's a lot of technique in bass fishing. It's not just a bobber and a worm when you're tournament fishing. It's a whole new world of exciting thing. I mean, I have recently got into glide baits now too, so it's just absolutely amazing to me.
Call Jack. I mean, don't call Jack.
Yeah, Jack, would you hit me up, please? I'm
He already
interested in
left.
the one that you using. But yeah, that's don't be afraid, because there's stuff all the time. It's like, whoa, what was that? I've never heard of that before, and
Mhm.
just there's so much technique. It's a art, and the newer people versus the older people, they have a whole array. Sometimes you'll see people post a whole bunch of old lures, and it's so fascinating because a lot of them are similar to the stuff we're using now, but it's a new twist on it or something. But
Right.
it's pretty cool. I mean, those are classics, but it's there's a chance that someone, and if you want to try it, it is scary in the beginning, and that's the only one that held me back in the beginning was me, because my family was, go for it, go ahead and try it. I mean, my husband has been super supportive. I have some really good friends, Marvin and Sandra Walters, that pushed me. He used to fish tournaments, and they have helped me tremendously, just literally getting started and teaching me stuff, and support with tournaments. It is expensive when you get up into the higher end fishing. That's another big factor to think about.
Right.
It's expensive to travel, and to you have entry fees and gas, and this year's prices aren't helping us much either. So
Right.
but if you want to do it, there is a way. I mean, there's so many local people that support fishing. If you just go out and visit with them,
Mhm.
it's shocking how many local companies will help you out. I had a lot of great ones last year. Unfortunately, this year with COVID and stuff, some of them struggled a little bit, so they couldn't
Right.
do the things that they did last year. But I'm hoping in the next couple of years we can get those partnerships going again. But a
Mhm.
lot of your smaller companies are willing to help you out with a couple $100 to help you, and make sure you thank them. Make sure you say something about them on your social media, or go
Right.
live at a tournament and say, hey, I'm here because of this person, or I
Right.
thank this person. Say something on your Facebook or whatever. I mean, those people didn't have to do that. A lot of them will help you out if you just go sit down and talk to them. It's crazy that, I've heard a lot of people say it's so hard to get it. It's not. I mean, be honest. You're either going to get a yes or a no. I've had people say, "What are you after? I mean, what do you need?" Tell them,
Mhm.
don't be greedy. Hey, I need $2,000 to set up my whole season. I mean, get a few people that are willing to pitch in a couple $100. I mean, every little bit helps, and be appreciative, and give back to them when you can, or pay it forward. One of the best things ever. I
I think
have some
that's
guys.
key.
Yeah, I
Y-
mean, here's the thing. I have some guys here that are been helping me learn how to use some glide baits, and they have been awesome. I mean, I cannot say enough about the people that have helped me out, and it was just a fluke that I met them, and a fluke that they're helping me. And for me, it's like, geez, let me do something. And I finally decided I'm going to pay it forward as soon as I can give back on something like that. I wish I wasn't already doing a tournament when they
Mhm.
offered up the vet thing here to take a vet that wanted to go tournament fishing. I
Mhm.
would love to do that, but unfortunately I did already have a tournament on
Right.
Table Rock that day. So, but I would have jumped on that. Give back when you can, because that's the
Right.
one thing I have noticed about the fishing community is they give, give, give. I mean, they
They
are
do.
super helpful. I
Mhm.
mean, it's
And
been awesome.
in so many different ways. I mean, around holidays, donating stuff for kids, and
Right.
I mean, just all the foundations and stuff. I mean, it really is a family. and going back to what you said with the women, there is a Facebook group. I think it's either girls who fish or women and fishing. There's like over 32,000 women in this group. I mean, it's huge. And I don't know if anybody from there is in here still, but it's amazing because I mean, just every day, just more and more women come in, and the new thing that people have started doing is they call it roll call. And the women are like, oh, I live here. Anybody local? Let's meet up, to where women are just starting to meet each other wherever they are and start fishing together. And
Right.
I think that's amazing,
I mean, I honestly didn't even know, was it last year before? So I had actually reached out to Pam Martin Wells and visited with her, and then Martha Goodfellow and visited with her. And, they gave me good starting points. And I knew that I wanted to fish, but I didn't know how. I mean, aside of the local old timers club, I didn't even know
right.
where to start. And so Martha gave me the name of, the Bass and Gals right here in Missouri, the women's club that we have. And I joined that. And then Leslie Anderson got me started with the LBAA. And, I just jumped in and never looked back. So it's been a great adventure. Anybody who's even thinking about it, do it. I mean, what are you waiting for? Hop in and just do it. Don't be afraid. It'll be scary at first. I guarantee it'll be scary.
But there's so much more
there's
benefit.
so much help out there. I mean, there's so much help. I mean, this last tournament, it's kind of funny because everyone said, "Are you nervous?" I wasn't nervous. I don't know why, because I'm normally super nervous about everything. I honestly was not nervous, and maybe it was the seat time that I've been putting in closer to home. But that part, I wasn't nervous about that. I was more nervous about the waves the second day than anything else.
I don't know why. What waves?
I mean, I'm sure for some it didn't bother them at all, but for me, as a newer boater, for me it was a little more intimidating. So
no, I honestly, those waves were intimidating for everybody. That's why we were all in the marinas.
I mean, anybody who dared to go across the middle of that, it was hang on.
Some of us went to the marinas on the other side of the lake.
Yes, I did too. And then as it got later in the day, I was regretting my decision. So
yeah, that was crazy.
It was it's not like Missouri lakes where we have hills and trees to protect the wind. That lake absolutely has nothing to protect it. It was pretty bad.
Yeah, it's the same in Kentucky. Like, we'll get kind of the swirl effect where you're like, okay, wait a minute. Now the wind was just blowing that way, and you set up, and then you're like, wait a minute. No, it can't blow always, but it really kind of does,
Right.
And yeah, that was in Texas. That was extra special. It was
good experience. You can chalk it up to good experience. So, I mean, every little thing, again, is seat time. I cannot stress enough seat time. And, a lot of ladies say, oh, I don't have a boat. I can't. I guarantee you can find somebody to fish with. It's there is somebody out there that that you could get started fishing with.
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, there are more and more and more women that are getting into fishing, and I've noticed that a lot, especially even just within the last few weeks. I mean, I've been to a couple of ponds. I've seen them. This crappie lake here, I'm amazed at how many women have been out here crappie fishing. So I'm excited because for the last several years, and again this year, women are still the fastest growing demographic in fishing. The
Yeah, I think that
problem,
LBAA posted the percentage or something, isn't it? More than a third or something of the
Mhm.
fishing industry is women now.
It is, and we
Yeah.
continue to grow. But the problem is that even though we're the fastest growing, the I forget where the curve is that we don't retain it. So if we would continue to grow,
Right.
and not women wouldn't drop out at a fast rate because of this, that, XYZ, whatever,
Right.
it would be amazing. Another thing is companies, all companies are going to realize the benefits of the woman angler.
Yeah,
Not the
let me
woman
tell you.
angler and adventurer like just Angie.
Let me tell you a secret. Anyone who's watching that's sponsorship, women spend more money. No.
Right?
Uh, and we tell more of our friends. Oh,
Yep. And we're the ones that are in charge of the money. We are.
yeah.
Like when it's all said and done, we are. But companies are going to realize, that maybe we need to make like rain suits for women too, instead of just making
Oh,
them,
thank you. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I actually, so here's a story for you. I work for Bass Pro, and I used to work in the Branson store, and I moved down to the restaurant. But before I moved down to the restaurant, I got to chauffeur around Mark Zona, who filmed a show in our store one day. And I had that conversation with him that with all his pull, he needs to find somebody who will make some women's rain gear geared for. Because literally,
What
when I
did
got
he
off the
say?
water this weekend, I had to take all this stuff off just to try and use the restroom.
At Mark
It was
Zona.
ridiculous. He probably does not even remember that conversation, but it was
Women's,
it for me was a real conversation that needs to be addressed.
we need
So
them for real. He's probably like, yeah, what? Because we're being serious, Mark Zona. And it's
I mean,
not just rain suits.
I'm sure he's got a little pull. I mean, no joke. Women are a little bigger in the hips. We need ones that are a little bigger in the hips, and
I'm thinking way more than just that. I'm thinking it is ridiculous. How many, seriously, this is our what, fourth show, and how many times have we talked about peeing on it? We shouldn't have to come out of like 5 different pieces of clothing just to pee.
it's yeah.
We put people on the moon, we do all kinds of things.
But we can't figure out women's potty wear.
That's what I'm saying. It shouldn't be that complicated.
Yeah. Well, I
Like,
think is it Carhartt that's on the right track? I saw Melinda Mize just posted something about. I believe it was Carhartt has some sort of new thing out that was easier to use the restroom. So, and it's an issue. It's definitely an issue. It's a little bit different being a woman angler on the boat versus a male angler on the boat for sure.
people,
but
the struggle is real.
it is.
People don't realize that, but it really
Well, I
is.
had to laugh the other day. she did a whole thing about using the restroom on the boat, and it was I was just hysterically laughing at home. I'm sure everyone thought I was crazy because she just hit the nail on the head about, you know, everyone's got to do it. It's
That's
turn
why
around and I'll go. So
that's
because
why you've got to listen to the podcast that Angie and I did on Truman, because
yeah,
it was it was just bad. I mean, because I had an incident trying to, because I had to go pee during the bad part of the storm. Well, you know, if during that bad of a storm, if your base layer gets wet, you're toast. Like, that was hypothermic stuff. And it
yeah,
was a team effort. There was like 4 boats back there during that
the
time.
struggle is real.
Yeah. It was rough. Well, meantime, Angie's like already eating breakfast at the back there with her boater. They already went in, and like, yeah, it was just funny. We were laughing so hard when she told me that she was gonna delete that. Like, so I thought she's gonna edit it out. Yes, she didn't. She didn't edit any of it out. So I'm
That's
like,
great.
yeah, I'm like laughing and she's laughing. You can't even tell like what we're trying to say in parts of it. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. It was nuts. But
Nice.
yeah, so we're going to get these companies to start looking into some of these things, because we are the fastest growing
Yeah,
demographic.
I figured
And
out my mystery person. Hi, Mike.
oh, good. Hey, Mike.
Thank you for the hint, Mike. Thank you for watching. I'm glad you also like my cooking. I can fish and cook.
That's good.
So
I can't do either.
come on now.
Yeah, that's
Any
not
more questions out there from anyone?
well. I appreciate you coming on and sharing some stuff with us, and
No
hopefully
problem.
you'll be at, I know you said you're not going to be in North Carolina, so hopefully we'll see you at Kane River, and who knows, maybe I'll show up as a boater. Maybe
There you
I'll
go.
draw you. Maybe I'll draw you if I
I,
don't.
I think you should go as a boater. We always need boaters. You
Stranger
just
things have happened.
you just gotta hop in and do it.
I
You know
have to
what?
have,
I mean, it doesn't even matter if you stink your first few times. You literally just got to get rid of those jitters and
I'm not,
go.
it's not the jitters. It's not that. There's just other things. It's not.
What is it? Do we got to work through it here? I mean, if I can do it, literally anyone can do it.
I don't know. I don't know. I just have to talk to Larry.
See, you're in your mind. It's like Pam said, if you keep telling yourself you're not quite ready, you're not ever going to be ready. You just got to get past that and hop in and try it. And honestly, you might stink at it. You might be awesome at it. I mean, you don't know until you hop in and just do it.
I know
You
one
just got to do it.
is that everybody would have a blast with me.
There you go.
I would make it entertaining.
There you go.
No, I just have to figure some stuff out, and it's the medical side of stuff.
Spices on us. Does that mean you're sending jerky and coffee?
Hey, Cowboy Coffee Chew. She says she wants your jerky and she wants your coffee.
Yes, please. I like both of those things.
But yeah, I just have to check in on some. I get my scans done next week, and I got stuff to check in on, and we'll go from there. So who knows?
Can I say, everybody, you can check out my Facebook. I have Shannon Wells Fishing on Facebook, Real Bassin Mama and Instagram, and I've been slacking a little bit on YouTube, but get back. The whole COVID thing, I was being quite lazy, so I was fishing more than I was doing videos like I should have been. But you can check out Shannon Wells Fishing on YouTube as well. I do have some great videos on there, but I'll keep doing some more because I've had people really been bugging me that they were missing them. So I'll get back to those too. But if you check out that stuff, that'd be awesome.
And if you want to send those to me, I'll make sure to put them in the description of the Women's World of Fishing YouTube page. But it won't be done until I get home from this trip. And I don't know when that'll be. So
that'd be great.
So I'll let you know when that's up. But thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Sorry we went over today. It was nice just to kind of lay back, chill, and, just kind of chat fishing and, just hang out, So everybody have a good night. And if you want to send that to me, and I'll put it up just whenever I get home, and hopefully big fish pictures coming.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
All righty.
We'll see. We're doing the Big Bass Bash this weekend this coming weekend on Lake of the Ozarks. So
glide bait.
Shh, don't tell everybody. You'll have to hook me up with your guy.
I will, because he's really good at it.
All right.
But well, I'll catch up with you before this weekend, though, and
Perfect.
everything. And
Perfect.
We'll chat soon then.
All right.
Okay. Thank you, Shannon.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a good week,
Thanks for
everybody.
watching. Thanks.